Ladies and gentlemen, we're back
We're here.
for another fantastic episode of
Good Morning Bushwick.
here at First Live Studios, 219 Central Avenue,
Yes, sir.
Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York.
Bushwick, Brooklyn, New York. And you already know, man. Here in the County of Kings, with the Kings of the County. And
I think by next week we're gonna have the entire
completely
thing
ironed out. By tomorrow, we'll have it wrinkled out for when we unveil it for next week. And
So this was something that I wanted to talk about.
yeah.
So I was having this discussion with Brenna probably like a few days ago when Orlando Brown just released a song, right? As soon as I said he released a song, you started making wisecracks because this is where he is in society right now.
Where he put himself in society.
Where he put himself. But then I go online and I see that there's a challenge, the Coming to America challenge, which is people trying to sing his song, and slowly but surely he's gaining more followers and listeners for this track. And the discussion that I was having with Brenna was, once someone becomes a celebrity, and I've learned this by watching Entourage, you always have the opportunity to come back. There's very few things that, like, even Louis C.K. is back doing stand-up.
And he fucked up. Apparently, he's in front of an entire Israeli crowd and said he'd rather be at Auschwitz than in New York City.
That's cool.
I was like, Louis, what are you, Louis?
It's like,
Louis.
but the story that I told Brenna about was the fact that Mickey Rourke was at one point, he was a hot actor. He gave up acting to pursue boxing. He got his face beat in. He had multiple reconstructive surgeries that warped his face. He doesn't even look the same anymore. And when everyone else counted him out, he did The Wrestler. And then that shot him back up to A-list status.
I'll tell you somebody who fell off big time in the 90s, who was a punchline in the 90s, late 90s, and made it the biggest, probably the biggest comeback ever in Hollywood. Iron Man, your boy Robert Downey Jr.
Another one.
From, like, what was it? Was it like
There's
97?
still memes of him in court.
And like the bounce back to the highest paid actor in Hollywood, bro. Like for Iron Man, one of the. Not, I don't think he's in the Rock now, but when he was doing, when Iron Man was the top franchise, when it launched the MCU into what the MCU is now, he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood for a few years. And to see to see his comeback, to see his slow comeback in those small supporting roles he did, other stuff. There are a lot of actors. To see a guy like another name I'll throw out there, who in the mid 2000s in the high school years, he fell off big time. A couple of Hollywood flops. Ben Affleck.
That's another one. But essentially what I was telling her was, just because they're not playing the main card doesn't mean that they're not creating a sustainable career for their future.
That's how, I mean.
One of the things that even made me start thinking about this shit to begin with was this interview from Pauly Shore on the Joe Rogan Experience, where Pauly Shore is talking about being in an Adam Sandler movie, and when he went on set, Adam Sandler had a trailer, and he didn't have a trailer, so that made him sad because he used to be the main guy in movies. Motherfucker, Adam Sandler owns his production company.
Yeah, that's Adam Sandler.
That's Adam Sandler's production company, bro.
Bro, we happy you got in the movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you launch a career. Like, I put it like this. Alec Baldwin. For him to get back to where he was and who Alec Baldwin is now, he fell off from a while from being a guy who was starring in movies in the mid-90s to a guy who just sort of fell off to in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, took some supporting roles, smaller roles, and he started working his way back up to where in that very small role in The Departed solidified him back on the A-list. Yeah. A very small role where he stood out in that film, and he's really on camera about 15 minutes. And he stood out in that movie.
It was small but powerful, his role.
Matthew McConaughey, even though we were talking about supporting roles. Matthew McConaughey in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, another one.
Bryan Cranston in Godzilla.
That was probably one of the most memorable scenes in Wolf of Wall Street. That entire sequence right there. That when people show memes of Wolf of Wall Street, they show Matthew McConaughey.
Keep going. Keep doing that. How many times you jerk off? Once, twice a week. Oh, those are rookie numbers. You gotta get those way up.
2 times a day.
2 times a day at least.
Bill Cosby's somebody that cannot make a comeback.
Nah, Bill Cosby's not making a comeback.
See, that's an open and shut case.
R. Kelly's not making a comeback.
R. Kelly's
you know
not
what's
making a
crazy
comeback.
though? R. Kelly made a comeback before this. He made after the sex tape came out. Listen, he didn't. They reaccepted him, man. Yo, he dropped World's Greatest, Heaven I Need a Hug. You know, all the happy people dancing, happy people. Step in the Name of Love. He went to all these happy songs. He had a couple God reaching out songs,
when was
people,
that?
Huh?
Was that during the time before social media?
Before social media, but even after, like in the inception of social media, he came back. R. Kelly, for all intents and purposes, came back.
He still has a solid fan base.
He has a fan base.
Didn't his fans put up his bail not too long ago?
Yeah, they put it up, and that's what
he got locked up.
Yeah,
again?
he got locked up again. They didn't give him bail again. And then one of the women who like defended him or now is the one who said like he pissed and shit in her mouth. Like it was ridiculous. Like I'm not gonna get into all that. But he essentially, for all intents and purposes, he made a comeback the first time. He did. Kobe.
I just think that Kobe's another one.
He made a huge. Just think about that. Nike dropped him. And then a year or two later picked him back up quietly and gave him a signature sneaker. Still has a signature sneaker.
I think one of the things that people in today's society crave the most is fame. And when you have these old timers or just people that have been famous for a while and they're not as popular as they was before, and they start getting depressed because they don't feel like they're at the status that they was before, you're not using social media to your advantage. You're not utilizing your fame to your advantage, and that shit sucks. Because somebody like Pauly Shore shouldn't be on Joe Rogan crying about how he's fucking miserable. He's not in a fucking movie. Write a fucking movie.
Yo, you're Pauly Shore, bro.
Write a fucking movie,
like,
bro.
You're Pauly Shore.
You can get his shit financed. You're writing cheap comedies. You don't need fucking studio quality shit. Get a fucking Blackmagic camera. Shoot the damn thing. Get an editor. Edit the thing. Put it out. You're already going to have an audience because people know Pauly Shore is.
And I'll say it like this. What solidified Ben Affleck's comeback to me? The Town.
Oh, that was a good one.
That he had a couple smaller roles coming back out, leading to that. A couple smaller supporting roles.
He lost a lot of steam after Jiggly.
He lost a lot after Jiggly. Daredevil.
Didn't he play Batman too?
Recently he played Batman. And I'm not gonna chalk the DC universe up to them. I actually like the DC universe films. Like I said, people were shocked I've seen those, but not the Marvel universe films. I always like DC comics more.
It's just darker.
Yeah, I like those more. I'm sorry. I don't want to see bright. They're great films, but I like those better. That's just what it was, and I had no problem with them. But Affleck was someone who he bounced back, man, and I hope for all these guys who did this DC Universe stuff, and they already canned it, they're moving away from it. They already got Robert Pattinson's gonna be playing the new Batman. They're trying to cast all the other villain roles. I think the only one who's that said is staying is what's her name? I can never even say her name. I think Margot Robbie.
She's staying as
Harley Quinn, but aside from that, everyone else.
I know Jared Leto's pissed off about that one.
Aside from that, I think they already shot.
I don't think they're gonna get Joaquin to play the Joker again.
I don't know if they could, man. And it's. I mean,
I heard they were looking at Matthew McConaughey for Two-Face.
I don't know. Yeah, they were. I heard they were looking at this guy. They wanted him for Penguin, but he wanted Riddler. Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill?
They wanted him for Penguin, but he wanted Riddler, and it didn't work out. I forgot who they're looking at now to play the Riddler. Allegedly, Zoe Kravitz is going to be Catwoman.
It's good.
They're setting a new Batman universe. They said it's supposedly going to be a new trilogy. Last Batman trilogy. You have a lot to live up to in my eyes. So do it good. I mean, I had no problem with Justice League. I mean, the Dawn of Justice in the Batman movie from that.
We veered way off topic, but that's what happens when you talk about the DC universe.
Yeah, man. But we're talking about actors making comebacks, and I hope all those people can make comebacks because they can't. And a lot of them they're blaming those actors, and it's not them. I think it was the studio, it's poor planning, a lot of other things. But I hope all those actors aren't blamed for that failure.
A lot of people wrote Bryan Cranston off after Malcolm in the Middle.
I mean, I don't even know how, man. But it's crazy. I honestly, I couldn't buy him when people were saying Breaking Bad was such a great show. I couldn't buy it until the first time I watched it, like 3 seasons in.
You couldn't visualize it.
And they're saying, yo, you have to move past it.
He's fucking Dr. Watley in Seinfeld.
Yo, like, and he's always good. To me, he's always going to be Hal. Hal, whatever their last name is, they never said their last name.
Middle?
Yeah. You're gonna have Hal Middle.
Hal Middle.
Malcolm Middle. Reese Middle.
Is it? That's what it is?
I don't know, but that's what we're gonna call them. But they never really said their last names. It was like almost like how the whole time with Entourage till the last episode, they never said Mrs. Ari's name.
You serious?
Yeah, they never said. She was always Mrs. Ari or Mrs. Gold until the last episode after he quit when Lloyd went to the house and he said, "Oh, hi, Melissa." That was the first time they said her name and the only time they said her name on the entire show.
I want to check episode 1's credits to see if it's at least listed in the credits.
Never listed Mrs. Gold or Mrs. Ari, whatever they called her in that episode.
Look at who came back using the fucking Entourage. Andrew Dice Clay.
I mean, look at who came.
Dice wasn't doing it big.
Nah, he wasn't. But
when he got that role in Entourage and he said we do the fucking.
Bigger than that, Jeremy Piven.
Oh, yeah.
Ari Gold.
He was another one, bro.
He was someone who was always a very low-level player in Hollywood, and that helped him get up there.
Even the movie that he did where he was like a car salesman, it didn't do that great.
It didn't do that great, but I mean, I actually liked it. I
loved it.
The Goods.
The Goods.
Yeah.
I loved it because I love him as an actor.
Yeah. He's a great actor. I met him at work when I was working one of the shows I filled in at. I met him. It's crazy, bro. While I was
box office flop.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing pretty much anything until that Ari Gold character solidified him, and that's when they started getting the fucking. Remember when they had the big ass billboard in Times Square?
Yeah.
Every new season.
Yeah, like it was a great show, man. I loved it. It was one of my favorite shows ever.
That show brought a lot of people back.
The craziest thing was hearing him on the phone, and I knew I heard Ari's voice. I'm sitting there, like I have a list of people for the lounge to go where they're going. And it's before the show starts. They can go sit up there before the show, and it's for VIPs and such. And I hear someone on the phone talking. I'm like, I know that voice. And I turn aside. I'm like, and he saw my face. He was on the phone. He's like, "How you doing, buddy?" And he said it. He sounded like Ari Gold. I'm like,
starstruck.
I was starstruck. I was stuck on, dude, you're Ari Gold, bro. I didn't say it, but I was like, you're Ari Gold, bro.
Don't worry. If I ever bump into Michael Richards, I'm gonna go. Get up.
Yo, bro. It was like when I saw Sarah Spain at work, bro. I said out loud, she's one of my favorite sportscasters on ESPN. And I saw her, like I turned around, I was saying something to the guy behind me, and I'm like turning around this way, saying something to him, and I turn back this way, and she's coming through the other machine towards me. And I go, oh shit, that's Sarah Spain. I said it out loud. Like I meant to say it in my head, but I said it out loud. And she wasn't literally that close to me, but I guess it was loud enough for her to hear me. And she saw that I noticed who she was. And she came over and she spoke to me for a few minutes. And she asked me, before she came over to me, she said, and we spoke for a minute. I was like, yeah, you're Sarah Spain. Like, I watch you all the time on ESPN and stuff. And, like, I knew who her husband was because I follow her on Instagram. And she introduced me to him. I shook his hand. She asked me if I wanted a picture. I was like, I would love one, but we're not allowed to take pictures with you guys.
See, that's a pro move right there.
Like, she asked me if I wanted a picture.
I want to give you an applause for that one, though, because...
Like, I don't... The only person... it's crazy. The only person I've ever taken a picture with at work is because he came out after everybody was gone and I was going on break. And I was breaking down. The general manager of the New York Yankees. The only person I've ever taken a picture with at work. Brian Cashman, the general manager of the New York Yankees.
I was going to say Joe Torre, but I'm about a few years after.
I met Joe Torre, though, at Springsteen. I met every celebrity I met working for the boss.
I tell you, when I was at Shade 45, I used to meet all these rappers and shit. And I told everybody, the only person I'll take a picture with is 50 Cent. And that's when I ended up seeing him
Yeah.
That was the only time I was starstruck.
Yeah.
But to me, 50 is not somebody that ever needed a comeback. Because he's always branched out. See, this is the thing that separates it's like the boys and the men. You got people that essentially rely on just the fame to get them through, and then you got the people that create their path.
Bro. People who
50's been killing it.
50
every angle.
Since 50, and you know what 50 did at one time, make one comeback, he's never fallen off again after he got shot.
Yeah, that was
it.
And since then, it's been a steady climb.
It's been a steady climb to the top. I could say maybe he leveled out, but he never fell off. He leveled out for a little while.
Between vitamin water,
Power. He never fell off. 50 Cent never fell off. He maybe wasn't in the forefront as often.
And he knows how to use social media to keep himself relevant.
Look at him. He got banned from Instagram and then came back. What do you do? Right back to trolling.
And with that,
you guys already know, man.
We have another fantastic episode here of Good Morning Bushwick. Thank you guys for tuning in.
We'll see you live next time. Not live, but next time.